Hello, this is Joanie Courtney. Thanks for joining me today for the EmployBridge October Jobs Report update. I'm excited to speak with all of you and give you a little bit more details on what's happening with the labor market. So today what we're going to cover is some labor market highlights from the Bureau of Labor Statistics report. We'll speak about which sectors are actually gaining jobs, what unemployment rates look like, and then also share some insights with all of you. So let me start with some highlights on the labor market. As you know, the latest report just came out and the government reported that 128,000 jobs were created for the month of October. Unemployment did tick up slightly to 3.6%, but this happened for a good reason. We have more people actually participating in the workforce. We saw over 300,000 people enter back into the workforce. So labor participation continues to just tick up slightly. Right now it's at 63.3%. But has been growing. The size of the overall workforce, people that are participating in the workforce, is growing every month. And that's a really positive sign. We see that people want to participate because the economy is strong, wages are moving up, there still are a tremendous amount of job openings and not enough people to get those positions filled. We still have 5.9 million job seekers of people that are looking for work but are on unemployment. Some other notable highlights in this report, we did see that the average work week did tick down slightly to 34.4 hours. We like to watch this number because it usually is an indicator of productivity. It's been pretty steady in this area, but something that we'll watch. We expect it will tick up slightly during peak season. It's a very busy time of year in fourth quarter. And then average hourly earnings continue to move up, as we all know, and continue to discuss. This labor market is extremely tight, and employers are having to raise hourly wages to really stay competitive and focus on retention of their employees. So overall, this was a very good report. The report did beat the economists' predictions and did come in a little bit stronger in many areas. Right now, we're going to take a look at which sectors actually added the job gains for the month of October. And if we start with the goods producing sector, we can see that construction added 10,000 jobs for the month. This is a very good sign, as I'm sure you all see, whether in your local towns or cities, certainly across America, we're seeing more and more construction and infrastructure jobs. So this was a positive number and certainly is good for the economy. However, manufacturing continues to be a real soft spot for the U.S. economy and is continuing to struggle. We saw a loss of 36,000 jobs for the month of October. This was impacted somewhat to the automotive sector and the strike with GM, and still some trade uncertainty, that is impacting the manufacturing sector. If you look at the service providing sector, that's really where we're seeing most of the job growth. Financial activities added 16,000 jobs. Very strong month of job growth for leisure and hospitality with over 61,000 jobs created. Healthcare, again, continued to be strong. Professional and business services, transportation and warehousing, which is a lot of the logistics jobs. And we did see retail also added over 6,000 jobs for the month. So many sectors are performing very well. We just need to get that manufacturing and automotive sector kind of back on track, and all sectors will be moving in the right direction for the economy. If you look at unemployment rates, as I mentioned, the national unemployment is 3.6%. It is important to kind of know what your local market is, and you can get that usually from your Chamber of Commerce or, local municipalities' website. Usually will give you that type of information. But on a national basis, you can see that, professional and business service sector is right in line with the national average. It's 3.5%. But then if you look at financial activities, it is only 2%, which shows you there really is not available skilled talent on the market. And it's getting very competitive for employers who need those types of individuals. Construction's a little bit higher at 4%, and leisure and hospitality a little bit higher than the national average at 5.3%. But again, if you look at the manufacturing sector, even though we've lost jobs in this sector, we're still only at 3.1% unemployment. And we see that from employers, that there is a demand for jobs. The job openings are there. And though there might be some uncertainty in the market with hiring, it is still a very tight market. So the jobs that are out there, we're seeing wages still moving upward. It's becoming very competitive and very difficult to retain staff. But overall, the October jobs report, again, was a very positive report and a good sign for the economy. The only real weakness looks like that manufacturing sector, which I mentioned, and need to get that back on track. So I thought I'd spend just a couple minutes today. This is a quick call just to give you some highlights, but wanted to provide some tips for employers that are navigating kind of these rocky, waters right now, especially when it comes to retaining talent. And some of the most important things that we see is that you really have to be competitive with wages. So a few tips that we'd like to share, certainly with our customers and employers, is really to review pay rates at least twice a year and make adjustments, especially on those critical positions. You might need to have some pay ranges in place, but it is something that is so important, because if you lose your people to, another company and, in your market, it obviously is going to impact production and really can impact a company's bottom line. So making sure you have competitive wages to retain your staff, keep them motivated so you can drive productivity is super important. Some other things that we've seen with, best practices for some of our customers have been adding a shift differential of $1 or possibly PTO for off-shift positions. Certainly during peak season, we see many employers modifying their attendance policy just to give employees a little bit more flexibility. Giving them a few hours of flexibility can make the difference for them in, having a doctor's appointment or having a sick child, and you don't want to lose that employee. So having a little bit more flexibility with your attendance policy can help you with retaining top talent in this tight market. You also can look at an employee engagement program. We have our Value in Partnering, our VIP group, which has tons of great examples and best practices on how to really drive the best employee engagement program. And then, another option which we see companies do right now is adding part-time or flexible shifts, just to meet the demand. So all of these things are options as you look at navigating these challenging conditions that we're all in. Lastly, I just wanted to mention that another important initiative that every company really needs to think about, and something that EmployBridge is certainly leading the way with, is how do we upskill the American worker, because we all know that there's over 7 million open jobs and only 5.9 million unemployed workers. And even with that being the case, we also know that it is extremely difficult to find the skilled talent that can meet the qualifications and requirements of the jobs that are open today. So EmployBridge feels very strongly about taking an active role in upskilling the workforce and offering free classes to all of our temporary associates to help them with improving their skill set and also some basic life skills, which are very important. But we see that more companies are definitely looking at these opportunities of training and different types of training, you know, from virtual reality to classroom training, on the job, apprenticeship programs. This definitely is an emerging trend that employers will be embracing in 2020 and beyond, and it is very important for our overall success of our economy to have a skilled, trained, experienced workforce. If you are interested also in learning more about what employees are looking for, we have our great survey, The Voice of the Blue Collar Worker, and you can see all different types of information on what they are looking for in an environment to work in, what's important to them. So we will share a link of that survey in the document, which will be sent out. And also, lastly, if you're interested in learning more about our Better Work Life Academy, I have a video that I just did with the CEO of Penn Foster, who we are in partnership with to create that online free training for all of our temporary workers. So thanks for joining me today for a quick update on the October jobs report. I will be back next month to give you an update on November. Make it a great week.